everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we'll continue with our chapter tenses. This is part 2. So let's begin the session. In earlier section, we have already discussed simple present tense or present indefinite tense. In this, we are going to begin with present continuous tense. So present continuous tense, what is it? Now, as I have already told you, present is the time which is going on right now at the very moment. Continuous is actually when something is in process or progress. When something is in process and it is progressing. So, present continuous tense shows the actions which are going on, which are in process right now. The present continuous tense, also referred to as present progressive, this tense is also called present progressive tense, is used to describe actions that are currently in progress or happening at the moment of speaking. Usage. The present continuous tense is primarily used for ongoing actions, actions that are happening right now. For example, she is talking on phone. Maybe possible she is talking with someone on phone. This is called present progressive tense. I'm reading a book. This is also called present continuous tense. So, this is called present continuous tense. Also, present continuous tense shows actions which are temporary. Actions happening around the present time, but not necessarily at the very moment of speaking. It means when we are speaking to someone about something, maybe possible that time the action is not going on, but these are temporary actions of our life. These are some work which are temporary in our life, temporary parts of our life. For example, I'm preparing for government exams. So this is only temporary in my life. It is not my entire life. It is not the part of my entire life. So actions which are generally going on right now. For example, maybe possible, suppose I say, Ria is preparing for UPSC. So she is preparing for UPSC only right now, only at this time, is at this part of her life. It is not actually that she will prepare for UPSC for her entire life, or she has been preparing it from the day one of her life. It is only a temporary part of her life. I'm staying at my friend's house this week. I'm here only for this week, not for the entire week, not for the entire life. They are working on a new project. As soon as the new project finished, they will get back. They would get back. So these are temporary actions. Whenever temporary actions are being shown, they should also be written in present continuous tense. Changing situations. These are also shown by these types of tenses. Describing a situation or trend that is evolving. When trend and fashion, they changes over time. They change over time. The climate is getting warmer. So the climate is getting warmer day by day. More people are becoming vegetarian nowadays as compared to time in past. So these are evolutions, or these are changing situations, changing trends, changing fashions. Nowadays people are getting aware of the harmful effects of population. So the changing things that are being growing in society, or something which is growing day by day. For example, global warming is increasing day by day. So these types of parts should always be written in present continuous tense. Future arrangements. Now, whenever we write a phrase going to, that is also the part of present continuous tense, but it is actually describing a word that has to be happened in future. Plans or appointments that are fixed or confirmed. I'm meeting her tomorrow at 5 p.m. They are flying to Paris next week. So these are future arrangements which are appointed or fixed or confirmed, but has to happen in future. They are going to stay with us this week. So These are some sentences that can be written in present continuous tense. Now, what are the forms of tenses? Present continuous tenses. The present continuous tense is formed using the auxiliary verb to be form, followed by present participle of the main verb. Present participle means ing form of a verb. Now, what we do here, we have again four types of sentences. One is affirmative, then we have negative sentence, then we have interrogative. And we have interrogative with question word. So when we make these types of sentences, first we have affirmative, in which we should write subject plus is, are, am, plus verb fourth form. Fourth form is actually, this we call verb fourth form. Verb fourth form here refers to first form of verb with ing, added with ing. This is called verb fourth form. Plus object. In case of negative sentence, subject will be followed by is, are, am again. Then we have not. Then we have verb fourth form plus object. For example, I'm not working, you are not working. In interrogative, first we'll have is or are or am. That is helping verb or auxiliary verb. Then we have subject. Then verb fourth form. Then object. When we have question word, we'll add question word plus the entire part will be same. For example, I'm working is present continuous tense in affirmative form. Now the negative part of it, I am not working. If it is you are working, you are not working. Then comes interrogative, am I working? Or if I add question word to it, how am I working? Where am I working? So all these are types of sentences that can be formed using this type of tense. Now we have I, you, then third person, he, she, it. Now I is always followed by am, whereas you is followed by are, and he, she, it are followed by is. When we have we, it should be followed by are, and they is also followed by are. For example, he, she, it is working, we are working, they are working. Negative form, I'm not working, you are not working, he, she, it is not working, we are not working, they are not working. Also, in everyday speech, contractions are often used. Now, what are contractions? Basically, when there is a work, am not, is not, are not, they can be written in a slang form. Basically, in speaking, we do use these slangs. We also use these slangs in question tags. Now, what are these? We have I am. So I am can be written like I am. But this is only generally a day-to-day speech or a slang form. When we are writing for some letter and when we are writing formally, we should not use these slangs. We should not use these contractions. These are only used these are only used in general sense, in a speaking form, or when we are writing informally. You aren't working, it means you are not working. So are not should be stated like aren't. We use these in question tag form. We aren't, are not, isn't, is not should be written like this, isn't. Now one more thing, if am not has to be written. It should be written like aren't and not amn't. Amn't is no word, is not a word. We also use in spoken form like ain't, but that is not applicable as per grammar in writing form. There is a difference of British and American as well. Now let's move further. In questions, to form questions, the auxiliary verb is is placed at the beginning of the sentence, as I have already told you. Am I working? Are you working? Is he or she it working? Are we working? Are they working? So these are interrogative parts. Now we'll read present perfect tense. Again, this tense is very, very important. Perfect, that shows the completeness of action. When completeness of action is being shown, then it should be written in perfect tense. Now, there is no question whether your homework has been completed or not. Whether it is completed or not, it should be written in present perfect tense. Depends that you have to show the completeness of it, whether it is done or not. It can be stated in two manners, in affirmative sentence or in negative sentence. But the word completeness, the sense of completeness should be focused there. The present perfect tense is an integral part of English grammar that bridges the gap between the past and the present. Now, one more thing come over here. That is, if the task has been done, it should be formed in past tense. Then what is the difference between present perfect tense and past tense? Well, this is very important part, and from this part spotting errors do come. We'll discuss in this part only, but later on. First, we'll see some examples of present perfect tense. Actions completed in recent past. For example, actions that took place at an unspecified time before now and are relevant to or have an effect on the present. Now, we have two types of actions. Now, there is a thing between for actions, that is the time. Sometimes it happens the action has been taken place, but we do not know the time when did it happen. We do not know the time when did it happen. And there are several actions they have done, they have been done, and we know the time of action. So this is very important. This plays a vital role. If we know the action, if we know the time of action, the action that has been taken place, and if we know the time of action, it should be written in past indefinite tense, or we can say simple past tense. But if the action has been completed and we do not know the time, it should be written in perfect tense, that is present perfect tense. Now this one is very, very important part. This is very important part. She has finished her homework. Now I just know that she has finished her homework. When did it complete it? When did it complete? No one knows. When did she do it? When did she finish it? No one knows. We only know that the homework has been completed. That is why this should be written in present perfect tense. They have visited the museum before. In fact, it means they have been to the museum once in their life. When? No one knows. It is not mentioned over here. So these should be written in present perfect tense. But if I say she has finished her homework in the morning. Now I know the time of action, the time in which this action has been taken place. It did take in the morning. So now here I know the time of action. So this sentence will be incorrect. Why so? Here I know well that the time of action was in the morning. She did it in the morning. So here has finished should be replaced with, this part will be incorrect. In fact, the sentence will be written like, she finished her homework in the morning. Now this sentence will be correct. So whenever some task has been done, we should see whether the time of action is known or not. If it is known, it should be written in past indefinite tense or simple past tense. But if we don't know the time of action, it should be written in present perfect tense. That's it. This is the difference between present perfect and past indefinite. Now, if it is written she has finished her homework in the morning, so she finished her homework in the morning instead. They have visited the museum before. Now, if it is written they visited the museum 5 days ago, so in that case, we would have written they visited, not have. Have should be removed from there if the time of action is known. When discussing life experiences, now present perfect tense is also used when discussing about life experiences without specifying when they occurred. I have traveled to Kashmir. It means once I have visited that particular place. When? I don't know. He has never been there. It means he have he has never visited that particular place. It never happened in her life, in his life. So these types of sentences which specifies these types of events which specify the experiences, the actions that had taken place in one's life, that have taken place in one's life, are to be written in present perfect tense. Changes over time. When we see changes over time, to discuss how something or someone has changed over time. Technology has evolved rapidly over the past decade. So technology has been changed. So it should also be written in present perfect tense. Multiple actions at different time. We have seen that movie several times. Also, if we write it is for the second time. Now if this expression has been written, it is for the second time, for the first time, etc. Now, if this expression is written, it should always be written in present perfect tense, or it should always be followed by a sentence of present perfect tense. For example, it is for the first time that I have visited such a big and beautiful mall. So, these types of sentences are also written in present perfect tense. Now, for actions that started in the past and are still in continuous now, they have been married for 10 years. So, they have married for 10 years. So, marriages are still going on. But if I write these sentences, these types of sentences in without time, for example, I must say they are married. I cannot say they are marrying. Marrying is a process, shows the process, but marriage is not a process. It is actually a thing, an action that takes on one day only. It is not in continuous. The life of it, the life of two persons after being married, that continues. For example, if I say, I know you, it is correct. I cannot write I am knowing you. This will be incorrect. Because I only say I know you, but I cannot this know this uh, this knowledge about someone cannot be in process. So I cannot say I'm knowing you. Instead, I say I know you. Such sentences which cannot be written in continuous tense and they can be written only in present tense, present indefinite tense. If we add time with them, they should be written in present perfect tense. For example, if I know you, I know you. And if I add some time over here, for example, if I write, I have known you for 3 months. So it should be, I have known you for 3 months. We cannot write, I have been knowing you for 3 months. That is incorrect. These types of sentences, which cannot be in process, which cannot be in progress, and the sentences that can be formed in present indefinite tense only, if time is added to them, they will be formed in present perfect tense and not present perfect continuous. So this is very important point again. Now again, the present tense is formed using the auxiliary verb has or have. For the third person, has. For first and second person, we should write have, or also for the plural person, followed by past participle of the main verb. I, we, you, they have worked. Now, past participle is actually the third form of verb. Now, here the sentences will be like in affirmative, subject plus, we can write over here, affirmative, negative, then interrogative. Now, let us form the sentences. It is subject plus has or have plus verb third form plus object, then subject plus has or have plus not plus verb third form. Then in interrogative case, we have has or have the beginning of the sentence, then we have subject, then we have verb third form, then we have object. And if there is a time, it will be added at the end of the sentence with since or for. If we have some question word, it should be in the beginning of the sentence. For example, I, we, you, they have worked, and with singular, he, she, it, or it has worked. Negative, I have not worked, he has not worked. Interrogative, okay, with contractions we can use I haven't worked, he hasn't worked. Now questions, have I worked, has he worked? Now irregular verbs, what are irregular verbs actually? The third form of verbs can be formed like play, we use played. Work, we just add ed, then that is worked. But for some verbs like go, if we have word go, so the second form of it is went and third form is gone. So this is called past participle. So go, went, gone, see, seen, be, been, and so on. Now we have present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense describes actions or events that is started in the past and is still continuing or were happening recently. It means some actions that started somewhere in past and still are in process. These types of actions are written in present perfect continuous tense. Actions that started in the past continue into the present. This tense emphasizes the duration of an action that began in the past and continues in the present. For example, she has been reading for 2 hours. It means she started reading 2 hours ago and she is still reading. So these types of sentences can be written in present perfect continuous tense. Here, this time matters. This time should be mentioned over here. When the action was happening recently and there is a connection to the present, They have been playing football, which is why they are so sweaty now. It means they have started playing some time ago and they are still playing. The connection is of time which is going on. And as they have started in the past and they are still playing, it shows some time because now they are sweaty. When they started, they were fresh, they looked fresh. To describe an experience up to the present, I have been working at this company since 2010. It means I started working here in 2010, but I'm still working over here. It means it shows my experience. If I say that I have been teaching English for 10 years, so it shows my experience, my journey, my life. To show the experiences of life, we use present perfect continuous tense. The present perfect continuous tense is formed using the auxiliary verbs have or has plus been, followed by present participle, that is base form plus ing, which we also call verb fourth form in our language. Then we have main verb. For example, I have been working, you have been working, we have been working, or they have been working. He, she, it, with he, she, it, we will use here has. For example, he has been working, she has been working, it has been working. Negative, I have not been working, he has not been working. Contractions, haven't been, hasn't been. For interrogative, have you been working, has she been working. So for such rules, we can write affirmative, then we have negative, then we have interrogative. So the rules will be like affirmative is subject plus has or have plus been plus verb fourth form plus since and for, since or for plus time. Now in negative sentence, it should be like subject plus has or have plus not plus been plus verb fourth form plus since or for plus time. We already have learnt about time, that since or for, that countable time is shown by for, whereas uncountable time is shown by since. Subject plus, sorry, in interrogative, there will be has or have in the beginning of the sentence plus subject plus been plus verb fourth form plus since or for followed by time. Now these are some things by which we can form a sentence of present perfect continuous tense. The tense often uses time expressions such as for or since. We know well they have been traveling for 3 weeks. She has been living here since January. So this we have already learned. When the time is countable, we use for, that has units. And when the time is uncountable, we use since. Thank you very much.